Good morning. Welcome to Mission Driven Mondays, where every week I interview an inspirational woman and we explore the answers to just three questions. We illuminate our past, clarify our present, and explore what we want our futures to look like. Today I'm interviewing my friend Melanie Dale. She's an author, blogger, and podcast host, and she's been my friend for about 10 years. She's the author of 3 books, including Women Are Scary, It's Not Fair, and a new book coming out tomorrow called In Freakin' Fertility. So welcome, Melanie. It's such a pleasure to see you here on Mission Driven Monday.
Thanks for having me. I don't know if I'm inspirational. I feel like I need to aspire to be inspirational.
Well, you really were the first person to inspire me. I feel like you are one of my, one of the friends that, not necessarily that I've known the longest, but I feel like we've been through the most together. And so, yes, I find you inspirational. And I think that we make each other better.
We do. We absolutely do.
Yeah. Good. Well, today we're exploring 3 questions, and you've gotten these questions ahead of time. We ask the same 3 questions every single week. And the first question is, what is your proudest accomplishment?
I'm torn about this, Chantel, because I have 3 books and 3 children. And I feel like I should say the children, like they're still alive. So I must be doing something right. But the 3 books I'm also really proud of. So I guess I would say, like, I'm proud of the bulk of things that I'm able to juggle and do. So the writing and the parenting and the marriaging.
Yes.
So just kind of, I wouldn't say there's a balance in my life. I feel like I'm always tipping one way or the other, but I think just trying to manage all of that, I'm proud of the life I've put together. Yeah.
And I think that you should be. I think especially when you say, you've written 3 books, that's huge, because I bet everywhere you go, you meet somebody who's like, oh man, I've always wanted to write a book, right? Mm-hmm. A book. Mm-hmm. And now here you are and you've written 3. That's quite an accomplishment.
Yeah, it's just about sitting down with your butt in chair every day, just sit down and write something, and it's usually crap, but you have to start somewhere. So just sitting down and writing a little bit a day. So I think, I'm the discipline of whatever it is that you want to accomplish in life, just developing a discipline with that.
Yeah. Well, I am going to post the links to your 3 books here when we get finished with this interview. But can you tell our listeners a little bit about what you write about? What is it that you kind of feel on your heart that you feel like you need to get out there for people?
Yeah. So the first book, Women Are Scary, is about developing relationships, and especially mom friends for women who have kids and they're trying to figure out how to meet other women with kids. And Chantel, you're in the book. I changed all my friends' names to Doctor Who companions because I'm a big nerd. So you're in there. And so it's kind of a dating analogy. I take women around the bases of relationships, of mom relationships, I call them, because I think there is a set of bases we go around. They're not the dating bases; they're different. But we do kind of have this natural progression of our relationships. So it's really about, like, how do we develop and maintain relationships during this, like, crazy time of parenting. And then the second book, It's Not Fair, is about learning to love the life that you didn't choose. When you see your life going one way and then you end up in a totally different place than you thought, and you maybe experience the death of a dream, and you have to mourn some expectations and figure out what to do with your life. Mm-hmm. I have definitely experienced that in my own life, and so I wanted to write a book about that. So it's a very personal book for me, and hopefully provides a lot of help for people who are also on that journey. In that book, I talked a little bit about my struggle with infertility and how that was such a pivotal time in my life. And so out of that, I had a lot of people asking for more about infertility, and I've always wanted to share more about my own journey with infertility. So this next book, In Freakin' Fertility, How to Survive When Getting Pregnant Gets Hard, I'm very proud of it, and I'm very excited to get it out. It is about infertility. It's the book that I wish that I'd had when we were going through it. I got my husband to write blurbs in each chapter from his perspective, and it's a practical book with practical tips. It also shares our story and some of the things we struggled with and some of the things that helped us. And it's illustrated. So I spent the last year drawing whimsical ovaries and sperm rocket ships. And I mean, if you're gonna read a book about the hardest thing that has ever happened to you, you might as well have fun while you're doing it. So
Yes. Yes. I love that. And now you can add artists to your repertoire, and now your husband can also say that he's an author. So that's pretty cool too. Well, in this season of writing books and doing all of the things that you're doing, raising 3 kids, and you often say, it's 3 kids from 3 different continents, which is a huge challenge by itself. What are you learning?
That's because we adopted 2 of them, not because I've given birth on 3 different continents.
Yes. Let's clarify that. That. So in this season that you're in, what are you learning or what are you working on?
I'm definitely been working on infrequent fertility nonstop for the last month or so. I'm also working on a new book that's going to come out in the future that's on parenting. And I really haven't told anybody about that yet. So, hey, Chantel, I'm writing a parenting book.
Stay tuned.
Which I promise. Yeah, there's an exclusive right there. I promised I never would, and so I'm a big fat liar. So I'm working on that. Yeah. So that's what I'm working on. And as far as what I'm learning right now, I think I'm in a difficult stage of life with parenting and work and trying to figure out how to make it all happen. So I'm just learning how to fill up. And I'm definitely in the process of learning that. I don't feel like I have that totally nailed yet, but I'm in the process of figuring out what do I need to do every day to fill up so that I am not just this dry, desiccated corpse trying to love the people in my life. Yeah. And so that looks like getting time with friends. It looks like grabbing coffee with my husband, snuggling my dog, just like taking some time to just read when I just need to sit and read a book. And so binge watching Game of Thrones, whatever. The things that I need to do in my life to make sure that I'm not running dry. And that's a work in progress.
Yeah. And I think that's true for everyone. Everyone that I meet, when you ask them, how are you doing? Everybody's super busy. They're trying to figure out how to do it all. And you really can't, right? You can't really do it all. And so I think that figuring out like what we want and what we love, that's a lifelong process. And so the earlier that we figure that out, I think the healthier and the happier ultimately we'll be.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Yeah. I find it's helpful, especially if you're in a creative field, if you can find something creative to do every day. Like we, as creators, we're always trying to create, but then we have to be also consuming other people's creations. So whether it's going to a gallery or reading someone else's book or essay, but looking at a painting or just looking, the creator going outside and looking at the beautiful fall foliage, whatever that looks like, just taking time to enjoy someone else's creation is a great way for us as creators to fill up.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. All right. So the third question, and this is a question that I love the most, it's when you think about who you are and who you want to be, what does that aspirational self look like? And a lot of times I pose this in like, what are kind of 3 adjectives that you would use to describe how you want to be as you age, as you get older, as you leave a legacy for your kids? Like what are you sort of working towards?
Honestly, and this is going to sound frivolous, but I don't think it is. When I think about how I want people to view me and what I want my kids to see, I would say ferocious humor. And what I mean by that is, life is difficult. We're in a difficult season here in our home, and things are hard, and maybe, I mean, I'm sure everyone can relate to that, where things are difficult. But for me, my go-to thing that I always try to dig deep and find is the humor in the situation. And sometimes it feels like I have to be ferocious in finding that and probably a little snarky, but just always looking for the humor in every situation. And I think that is the thing that really helps me keep going. And I hope that I'm passing that on to my kids and my friends, that even when things are hard, even when you aren't sure the outcome of a really tough situation, we can find a way to laugh in the middle of that. And my mom always says, you have to laugh to keep from crying. So I cry too. Crying's great, but I'm always looking for a way to see something from a different perspective and find the humor in it.
That's good. That's good. Do you ever find, though, that sometimes people don't realize how hard things are because you are so good at laughing about them?
Totally. Like sometimes, and I think that's my personality. Like I'm the people pleaser, and I'm the achiever, and then I need the A+ in every possible facet of my life.
Right.
So I wish that I could just like tell people like, here's all the things I've done. Here's all the things I'm struggling with. Here are all the ways that things are falling apart in our home on a daily basis. And here are all the ways I'm not doing great, to make it, like, so the people can see, I think we all wish that we could like just to the world, but I don't know. I'd rather laugh.
Yeah. Well, you're good at it. You're good at it. Your books are very funny. In fact, Melanie's podcast is called Lighten Up. And so in that podcast, she interviews authors, creators, moms, just people that you find inspirational, right? You interview all kinds of people. And in that podcast, Melanie is always inviting all of us to lighten up with her. So thank you, Melanie, for being with me today and for joining me on Mission Driven Monday. And as always, I hope that everyone had as much fun as I did. I'll post links to everything that Melanie does. And if you're interested, you can listen to her podcast. You can read her books. But you cannot have her for a best friend because she's already taken. So I'll talk to you later, Melanie. Thanks.